Hey everybody, we are live. We are live again. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in to Making Money Moves today. I am your host, Aaliyah, of course. Today we have a treat for you, but let's get into what we talked about last week. So last week we had Brandy Holmes on here, who is a professional makeup artist, and she gave tips on dry skin and oily skin. So she talks about, for oily skin, such as myself, oil breaks down oil. You know, if you remember that from chemistry or biology when you were in school in science in one of those places. Oil breaks down oil. Water and oil do not mix. I know, she did mention that a lot of people don't want to put oil on their face because your skin is already oily. So what is the purpose? But it definitely helps. You definitely will see a difference once you apply makeup, or even if you don't wear makeup and you're a man and you're just out throughout the day, you'll see a difference in your skin and you're not as shiny. So you don't have to do a lot of like wiping off with towels and t-shirts and things of that nature. She also talked about dry skin, and she mentioned that you need to, what did she say? One of her products, the sugar scrub, her products that has honey in it, because honey is a natural product that helps, even when you're sick, to use that. So she said the sugar scrub is a good thing to use because it opens up, I think she said, your pores. So it helps when it comes to your skin. So those were the tips from Brandy. And then I talked about traveling and how when we are, traveling, like all of my trips are on layaway, basically. I do not shell out money at any points in my life all at one time, because I have like panic attacks when I have to give so much money away, because I am very frugal. So everything is on a payment plan. Here's $100, here's $200 for your deposit, and then it's $100 a month or whatever it is until the trip is paid off 45 days. So, I am a travel agent. So if you guys do want to take a trip, find out some information, just holler at me, let me know. Okay. So now today we are talking to Nikita Ross. Our next moneymaker is Nikita Ross. She is the co-owner of 360 Degrees Hair Salon, which is where I go to get my hair done right now. Don't judge me or judge her because of my hair right now, but don't worry, it'll be cute to get in a couple of weeks. She is the co-owner of Icon Women Organization, which is a nonprofit that helps women and children. She is a blogger. She is a lifestyle consultant. She is a architect when it comes to style. Okay, she does a lot. She a little bit about Nikita. She has a marketing degree. And one thing that's interesting about her is that she didn't want to do hair, which I never knew that. I've been knowing her for almost 10 years now. It'll be 10 years that I've been in Houston next year, and I've been very loyal to my hairdresser. But anyway, that she did not want to do hair. She's into style, she's into fashion, but I will let her talk to you about what she does, and then we'll get into it. So Nikita Ross, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So give us a little bit about you. You have all these things that you do.
Okay.
She is an educator for Design Essentials.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let her talk to you about 360. Give a little bit about her, and then we'll kind of get into the rest of her.
Okay, so I'm Nikita Ross. I'm the co-owner of 360 Degrees Hair Studio. I own it with my mom, and we've been in business for 15 years now. I've been doing hair since I was 14 years old. Just hanging out in the salon with my mom, shampooing, being her assistant, answering the phone, things of that nature. But it was never anything that I wanted to do professionally. It was just helping out at the salon, helping my mom out. And what happened was I ended up going to college. I wanted to be a buyer, so I majored in marketing because I wanted to be a buyer for Neiman Marcus in Dallas. And upon graduating, I was offered a position through May's Department Group, which is Foley's, which at the time was Foley's, to be a buyer. And they offered me, I think it was 2001. They offered me $40,000 a year to be a manager over $4 million worth of merchandise. And I'm like, so I'm going to get paid $40,000 for managing $4 million worth of merchandise. I'm doing hair part-time. I'm making $40,000 already. I'm just doing it part-time. I'm not taking it serious. So what happens when you take things serious?
Right.
What happens when you change your whole mindset? Everything just changed completely. And literally, that's when I said, well, wait a minute. Now, you may not want to do hair, but you know how to add and subtract. And that's when I decided to really, really take care more serious and really build my clientele. So that was the transition.
Isn't that interesting?
Making money moves, okay?
Isn't that, before we even, she was making money moves before we even started, okay? It's, how we've talked about in the past how, what you have always sought out to do or wherever you started is kind of not where you finish. Or, her route with marketing, and then she ended up, now co-owning a salon with her mom, which is something you were just helping out, but the numbers don't lie. So
yeah,
40,000 working 80 hours compared to maybe I only work half of that and I make more money. It doesn't, to me, that just, numbers make sense. Okay. So she knew that at an early age.
Yeah, very early.
Okay. So you are the co-owner of that. You also have NikitaRoss.com.
Yes. That's like my newest venture.
So talk to us about that.
The NikitaRoss.com really embodies what I wanted to always do.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to, conduct business, help brands grow, help people grow.
Okay.
And so that's so much of who I wanted to be 20 years ago.
Okay.
So now it's just coming back full circle. It happened though by default. I started getting a lot of DMs, messages on Facebook, Instagram about what you think about this, what you think about that, from strangers, people I didn't know. And I'm like, well, that's when I became an expert in that, But people kept reaching out. And so I started talking to my business coach. I'm like, I don't want to be a cliche.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do things just because that's what's popping right now. That's what everybody's doing.
Right.
But she was like, but Nikita, if people view you as an expert, if people value your opinion, why not seize the moment?
Right.
Why not seize the moment? Why not brand it? Why not market it? And just be NikitaRoss.com. And you being NikitaRoss.com, you are business, your family, your mental health, your travel, you're hanging out with the girlfriends. You are like a holistic living.
Right.
And so we have business coaches, we have financial advisors, we have trainers, but who's telling us about how to really carve out time to recharge and get our mind right? Who's telling us how to travel? Who's telling us how to balance being a great friend and also being a great mother?
Right.
So actually that's like a niche market. And so I realized, okay, there is a void. There is a need for that, obviously, because people keep reaching out.
Right.
So that's how I came up with NikitaRoss.com.
Oh, all these things you never knew about, all these things about these. So before, I know I kind of fast forward a little bit, but I do want to give you a little bit about the beauty industry that she is in, even with, NikitaRoss.com when it comes to fashion and it comes to these things. The beauty industry, I want to put some numbers to this so, we still finance. Beauty industry is a $382 billion industry. Okay. That's what I want you guys to get. In 2015, it was only 56.2. Okay. So we went from 56.2 to $382 billion industry is what the beauty industry is. Okay. So when you look at from makeup to hair to skin to different things for you taking care of yourself, part of what she is with her blog tells you basically how to take care of yourself. You can't take care of others without you taking care of yourself first.
True.
So she gives you that on NikitaRoss.com, but that's also part of, this money that we are spending in this industry. Like, this is one of the places, if you have a niche for maybe helping people or doing something with them from a massage therapist. People love convenience. To be able to go to somebody to do some things, this might be one of the industries you want to look into. As a hairdresser, barbers and hairdressers are the fastest growing occupation. In 2016 and 2017, it's 10%. It increased by 10% for 2018. Fastest growing in the industry. So period, in occupation period. So that tells you that, people value who they are. People want to look like something. People want to take care of themselves a little more now, maybe than what they were doing in the past. But that, it speaks volume to what they do and how important they are when it tells you how much money it's worth. Okay. All right. Give you a little history about that.
A fact check.
Okay. So now we, Nikita Ross. So she has a dinner and dialogue that is on her website that I actually attended, the dinner and dialogue. So give us a little bit about the dinner and dialogue.
So dinner and dialogue was a concept I created a year ago. I tried it out on social media, put the post up like, hey, doing dinner and dialogue, come hang out with me. And you know how social media is. I may have received maybe 1 or 2 likes, but I put a selfie and you get like 200 likes. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. They're not feeling that. So delete. What is it? Control Alt Delete? Yeah. Yes. Let's get rid of that. Let's kind of smash it. So I kind of killed it. But I don't know. I love this thing called entertaining. Aaliyah knows that. I love to entertain. And I love to go to dinner. They always laugh at me because I can eat out every day of the week. So again, that's just who I am. So I came up with dinner and dialogue because I wanted to entertain, but I wanted to have meaningful conversation over dinner, right? And so I want to create this experience, this ambience, this atmosphere. And I just said, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it different. Change your whole marketing strategy. Go back to the old ways that used to work. Because sometimes we get handicapped with social media and we think social media is supposed to do all the work. I said, no, make it exclusive. Make it exclusive. Do personal invites. If you're not invited, you cannot attend. And do it that way. And it's something about exclusivity. It creates this to-be desired effect. Meaning like, wow, how can I get in it? How did she get a seat at the table? Why wasn't I invited? And that just changed the game. So what happens now is this. I did 2 dinners. May 9th, May 30th. When I do my dinner on May 30th, all I do is I post the flowers on my Insta story. Not on Instagram, on my Insta story. I get 3 people within 15 minutes saying, I need a seat next time. So it's different. Now it's the demand for it. Yeah. Instead of me seeking people, now it's being sought after.
Right.
And I'm about to start a 5-city tour.
5 cities. She's coming to a city near you. I know she'll be in Atlanta. She does a lot of stuff in Atlanta.
That's my
like
second
her
home.
second home.
I could be
Atlanta.
Yes.
So I know she'll be coming to Atlanta.
July 1st.
July 1st she'll be in Atlanta, which is, which is a Sunday. Is it a Sunday?
It's
a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll be just coming back from Chicago. But it's she is coming to a city near you. So if you want to, perhaps get into this dinner and dialogue, you need to go to nikitaross.com and become one of her the newsletter. Where she sends out information, and then she will send you invites if you are invited. One good thing about the dinner and dialogue is you are in a room full of people that a lot of from either own their own businesses or they have some type of, they have an entrepreneur spirit about them. Like, yes, they might work for somebody else, but they are also doing these other things. So they're able to give you some other things that you don't have, even if you are an entrepreneur. Like, I am one, but I learned so much from so many other people that even they may work for somebody else. Like one of the women that was there, she's a trader for Shell. And she does so much, but by her doing whatever she does on the side and working there, she has a different perspective because she's in the corporate world. So she can give you what's in the corporate world and what you can take away from it outside of whatever, what she does on the side. So that is one of the good things about the dinner dialogue. You do get a lot from the people that's there. You're able to help and give to other people. One of the things that's funny that she brought up, that people brought up, was to kind of detox from social media. That at some point it kind of clouds judgment a little bit. When you're looking at social media all day and you're just scrolling, you don't compare yourself, but you kind of compare yourself with people, that stuff that's going on. And I told them a story how a couple years ago, maybe about 5 years ago or so, I was Ratchet TV I loved it. It was like
I love it
still. I was all day from Love and Hip Hop to Housewives. I watched every Love and Hip Hop, every Housewife, Love and Basketball, all the above. And at some point, I went from just, being me to comparing myself to these women that are on TV with these bodies that they have. That everybody, even if they have kids, they still have banging bodies. And I used to be like, you have no excuse because you don't have any kids. So I literally had to stop watching this and get myself back together. Like, Aaliyah, you tripping. But, when you see this stuff so often, it's kind of like, almost get brainwashed almost. Even the strongest people have these things that happen, and I obviously don't consider myself a weak individual or insecure, but, something happened watching this all the time that I had to literally detox from and to get myself back together outside of me going to the gym every day. It was just, I don't know. But detoxing from stuff and getting, kind of getting your mind back together definitely helps. So that helped me. But, you know, everybody is different. Every situation is different. You may feel like you don't need that, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay. But anyway, my little personal story. But, you know, give you a little bit. Okay. So now we have Boss Up Movement.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Boss Up Movement. Okay. Because everybody that is an entrepreneur is not a boss.
No.
They are not a boss. So let's talk about Boss Up Movement.
But you know what? The Boss Up Movement really doesn't have anything to do with entrepreneurship.
Right.
It really just has something to do with you, the being, the individual.
Okay.
But one thing about bosses make decisions.
Right.
Bosses are very proactive. Most bosses are.
Mm-hmm.
And bosses also execute.
Right.
They execute. And what execute means, it means you act upon. That's what bosses do. So I'm translating boss behavior to real life behavior, right? So now I'm telling individuals, boss up, man. Like, make some decisions. Make up your mind. Because what people love to do, they don't like to make up their mind, but they love to straddle the fence, right?
Yes.
And they love to say, like, well, if we do this, it's going to happen. And if we do this, it's going to happen. But they don't want to make the decision because it's going to cause them to be ridiculed. Because if you do right, or if you do left, it's like, why did she do right? Left would have been better.
Yeah.
Right? But it's easy to critique and criticize when you're not the one making the decision.
It is.
It changes the whole game. So it's like, be decisive. Make up your mind. What you going to do?
Right.
What you going to do? And then next, you know, it's about acting. You know, people say a whole lot of things. People talk a lot.
Yes.
And one thing about me, I don't like a lot of talk. I just don't. I like action. I'm moving next year. We'll move. Quit talking about moving next year. You've been talking about moving next year for 5 years. You know? I'm going to lose weight. Don't talk about it. Don't post about it. Be quiet. Be secret. Come out in 6 months. Make us say, ooh, what you been doing? You know? Let the actions, you know, speak. So that's what bossing up is about. It's about taking control of your life. At the last dinner, you will realize that a lot of people kept saying, oh, you know, I'm sacrificing for my family. I'm doing this for my family. That kept coming up. I put myself behind my kids. I put myself behind my husband. That kept coming up, right? And I don't do that. I don't do that because when we start being a sacrificial lamb, it causes resentment.
It does. It
causes resentment. And what happens is those kids are going to grow up. Jada's going to be 21 this weekend. She ain't studying me like that. You know what I mean? And guess what? Jeremy's going to be 21 one day. So if I keep wrapping my whole life around them, who am I going to be 13 years from now when he's 21? We lose sight of who we are, sense of self, you know? So it's about like bossing up. What makes you happy? It's so funny. So many of us don't even know what makes us happy anymore. We're so busy making other people happy.
You know what's funny? Okay, so let me take on that. So I was watching the Red Table.
Yes.
Red Table Talk, right?
I did too.
And Gabrielle Union was on there. I love her. She's like my big sister. You know, just in case y'all didn't know that we kind of look alike sometimes.
She's not my sister, but I love her.
So she, at the Red Table, they talked about, she was like, she has a life coach. And they were working out. And the life coach asked her, name 10 things that you like about yourself. And she was on there and she boxing and I was like, and she couldn't name them.
She said like butter.
She said butter,
bread
and beef, ground beef. At the end, she couldn't think of anything that she liked about herself. Which, you know, if you have to sit down and write out 50 things that you like about yourself, some people cannot do that, which was a challenge I think that Steve Harvey had one time. It was like, sit down and write out these 50 things you like about yourself. Because if you can't figure out, the purpose of that was, if you don't know what you like about you, or you don't know how to make yourself happy, how can you expect somebody else to? Which was interesting that, you know, I watched that right after we had this dinner and dialogue, which then you're kind of like, well, geez. You know, like, do I know 10 things I like about myself? I mean, I do, but do you? You know?
But believe it or not, though, more people don't than do.
Yeah. A lot of people don't.
You would think it would be natural. You would think it'd be natural that, no, most people do. No, most people don't. And I think that's the beauty of dinner and dialogue. Those thought-provoking statements that you really have to expound on. That we don't, those topics that we don't normally talk about, you know? And it's like, ooh, wait a minute. You know, like, somebody asked me a question 3 months ago, you know, what needs to happen this year in order for you to consider it a success? I was like, ooh. You know, like, and I just kind of skipped it, didn't answer it. kind of bookmarked it in the back of my head. And then, like 3 or 4 weeks later, I think I had an email with that, like a questionnaire email with that. And then 3 weeks later, somebody else asked me. Right. I'm like, wait a minute, you're going to stop and pause and think about it. You can't keep bookmarking it. You got to address it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to ask you guys. I want you guys to respond to me, okay? On Facebook, Instagram. We're on Instagram Live on Nikita Ross's page. I'm on Instagram Live on my page and on Making Money Moves page and on Facebook, okay? Let's see, do you all know what it takes to make yourself happy by the end of 2018? Do you know 10 things about yourself that makes you happy? Like, let's answer some of these questions. I know we said today was about finance and beauty and finance, but it kind of took a little different turn, so it's okay. But sometimes what the plan was for the conversation obviously changes when conversation gets started and things get to coming out. So that's kind of where we are right now. So let's see if last time I asked you about all about your relationship with money, and what your relationship with money was and how it needs to be. You don't want it to be a one-night stand. You want it to be a long-term commitment. One-night stand, when it's coming in and it's going out, you can have one-night stands and it was satisfied you for the moment, but after it was gone, you now have nothing. So the long-term commitment, I asked that and got some interesting questions. So now let's see if we can get some interesting comments today or questions about what we have about the 10 things or what makes you happy by the end of the year. Okay, so we'll keep talking, but let's have some coming in. I see some people talking about the action behind our words and how I like how Nikita thinks. Yeah. So yes, see these people that's in my circle, y'all don't even know. I'm just dropping y'all gems every week with these people. Yeah,
this is great. This is a great thing that you're doing.
So yeah. Thank you. Okay, so we've talked about the Boss Up movement. We've done dinner and dialogue. We've done 360. Now let's talk about Icon. We haven't touched on Icon yet. Icon obviously is a nonprofit organization. We do a lot of things. One of the things I know you all see on my page, people say, Aaliyah, you don't do anything but go to white parties and wear white. But that's all I post, I guess, on Facebook. But that is one of the biggest fundraisers that we have for Icon is the all white party, which is which basically the scholarships that we give kids. We give kids and single moms the scholarships for school. So we've given out over $50,000 worth of scholarships. So I did talk to a couple people, if you have kids that are graduating looking for scholarships or you have single mothers under a certain age, you can go on the Icon Women's Organization's website and you can pull it down. I think the application or fill it out online. It can kind of walk through that, gives you the instructions and all that. But let's talk. Nikita is a co-founder.
Yes.
Of Icon Women. So let's talk about where Icon Women came from. The passion, helping people. She likes to help people a lot.
Yeah, I do because I feel like, what, God has put me in a position where people have pulled me up, right? Yeah. Life is about reaching and pulling, right? So people have pulled me up. Like, I didn't wake up like this. I did not. People literally showed me the way, how to do this, how not to do this, And so it's like, if they pour it into me, I want to pour it into somebody else.
Right.
So it's like a pay it forward movement. So myself and my girlfriend, LaShonda Pierce, we both are passionate about, community and giving back. And we had a conversation one day. We were like, we really want to do some things. We were both doing some things individually on our own. I was doing things at the salon like breast cancer awareness, AIDS awareness. So I was doing things with a cause at the salon, and she was into female empowerment. And we were like, what's going to happen if we actually get together and do some things in numbers, in multiplicity, multiply this thing. And just like we're doing finance, multiplicity.
Yes.
So we had we were at her house one night and we were just drinking wine, talking and thinking it up. And what happened is 2 days later, remember I act. I went on LegalZoom.com and I created a nonprofit. And I called, I said, okay, friend, we ready. So what's our logo going to be? And she was like, well, we're Icon, individuals connecting as one network. Let's do the puzzle piece. Let's put the pieces of the puzzle together because the piece of the puzzle is kind of unknown by itself. But when you put it together, you see this beautiful masterpiece.
Right.
So that's how we came up with Icon Women. That's how we came up with the logo. So our mission and vision is to educate and elevate women and youth. So we do things throughout the year. We have our newest project, which I'm so excited about, is our mentoring project called the Grace Project. And even though Aaliyah has not posted, she's very actively involved in that.
I'm really bad. I'm really bad.
But
about
I mean,
this.
you actively involved in that, and we do that every 2 weeks. And you did it at, where did you? Store of Hope.
Star of Hope.
Store of Hope, and you worked with which group?
The kids, the teens. We worked at Star of Hope with the teens. So what we did there was we took kind of like, you know how you did different icebreaker games, basically, to kind of get them involved in youth. And one thing, this is what's funny. Okay. I know we running out of time. I got to give y'all financial tip at the end, but let me give y'all this. Okay. So you know how each generation is different.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, we had from the 1950s to the 2000s, like the different like technology and different things, or how you talk to people or how do you communicate, right? So we had like, you know, from different eras. So we end up having pagers and beepers, and then you know how they send stuff in the mail and email. So we did all these things coming up. And then once the kids got to like now, you know, 2017, 18 or 16, 17, they were like, what is a pager? Like, what is a rotary phone? Like, what is like, what? They don't even talk. Everybody just sends text messages, which I really feel like, let me tell you something. You cannot text me all day. My fingers are broke is what I'm going to tell you. You have to call me. I really feel like text messages, texting has taken communication. It has taken away. And people talk like they text, and you write like you text, and you don't. I feel like we're lost. Okay. We're lost. But anyway, it was just funny that the kids were like, we don't talk. Like literally they send text messages, they send you a messenger, you see the emoji, you get a video, you get a meme. Like they don't communicate. Like it's really funny, the different generations. And we was like dang.
But
you know?
but you say text, I say cell phones, period.
Oh well, yeah.
You know, because you almost at the dinner table with your phone looking down.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So so last thing, okay, I'm gonna tell y'all this story. She told us the other day. So she said, so Keith and her husband, shout out to JJ.
Yes, my boo.
Were at dinner, right? Having a dinner date. And it's funny because me and TJ actually had the same conversation one day. And he literally was like, I have to put my phone away so we can talk. But anyway, they were on a date and they were texting, right? Looking at their phones, whatever they was doing, social media, whatever. And this old couple came up to them and was like, are y'all dating y'all phones or dating each other? So she told us that. We was all like, but you couldn't get mad at the old people.
No.
Because they older people, you're not calling them old people, older couple, right? Because they said that like it was true. So, which is funny that she told us that story, because literally me and my boyfriend went out and he was like, he kept saying, let me put my phone in my pocket so we can have a conversation, because it's very, you know, it's kind of rude almost. Like somebody talking to you.
It is rude.
You know, your
really
phone is just out like that. So
it's like the great distractor.
So
it really is. It distracts us. All of us. I mean, we say teens, grown folks. It distracts me. Like I literally had to say, put it down. Like what that can wait.
Yeah. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know we are coming to the end, guys. If you guys have any questions or you want to give us anything, please let me know. We'll send it out. Or if you have any questions for Nikita about 360, about anything that she has talked about today, nikitaross.com, the Boss Up Movement. If you have questions, you want to know what city she's going to, how you can get involved. If you want to get involved with Icon, how you can help, how you can donate, send us a message and we'll get it out to you. Okay, so at the end of every podcast, we give some type of financial tip. We talked about with Keisha, we talked about insurance, retirement. With Kyra Hardwood, we talked about having your like hands and stuff insured. You are actually the first person that mentioned to me about having my hands insured. One day we were sitting at the salon talking, and you was like, "Are your hands insured, Aaliyah? What happens to you if you can't work and your hands?" You are actually the first person that said that to me. But we talked about that. We talked about retirement. We talked about junk bonds with Netflix. So give us one tip, period, from everything that you do, that you've learned so far. Give us one tip that you can give to everybody.
I think the smartest thing I ever did was when I bought my house, I bought less house. When we go see homes, we buy more homes, right? They are beautiful. They're bigger. They have marble. They have this. They have that. But when I bought my first home, my client was in mortgage bank, home financing. And she said, Nikita, let me tell you something. You're not going to be young forever. If $400,000 is your number for your home, buy a house that's $300,000 and finance it for 15 years. She said, don't finance it for 30 years. Finance it for 15 years. You're going to pay it off fast. And when you're 41 years old, your house is going to be paid off. And she said, so that's going to be your home. You're going to have a deed. You're going to have a deed to your home. You're not going to be paying on it. And when you're 41, if you want to buy something and get a bigger one, you can. But this is yours. So when you sell it, all of that money is yours. So as I approach my 40th birthday, this 41 is coming soon. That's the best thing I could have ever done. So what happens is your interest rate is lower. That's one thing. And the second thing is, believe it or not, guys, when you do it for 15 years opposed to 30, you think it's double? It's not. And I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all my business. My mortgage for 30 years is supposed to be $2,700 a month. For 15 years, it's $32. $500 to cut it in half.
Right.
That's making money moves.
Okay, which means what? Her house will be paid off next year?
Yeah.
House will be paid off next year.
We don't have a mortgage party.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here for it. You know,
any reason to celebrate, right? Come on, mortgage party.
Okay,
yes.
we gotta have one in the 3 months because my truck will be paid off. Okay?
See, I mean, it's like that though, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is betrayed. Okay, so that is so funny, y'all. So if you looking into it, if you want to look into it, I'm actually looking, buying a house. So that is something that, I have thought about. But so my tip today is going to be about artificial intelligence. So if you haven't already, looked into artificial intelligence or you don't know what it is, I'm going to pull up the link for you guys. Artificial intelligence has been basically when you think about robots, but a lot of stuff that we already do, a lot of companies has already put in artificial intelligence. So AI is kind of what it is. So it is something that you want to look into because it's in everything that you do. It's in PayPal. It's in Amazon. So when you go on Amazon, it starts giving you these things that like these recommendations. So when you see something that's giving you recommendations to sites that you're on all the time, that's the AI that's working in behind the scenes that they've been using for years. So a lot of companies and a lot of people are now tuning into it. And they are starting now to invest in it. So that is my tip for today is AI, looking at some of the stocks and some of the products that we already use that you might want to go ahead and invest in. I will elaborate on that again next Tuesday. So thank you, Nikita Ross, for coming in today. And I hope that you guys, have enjoyed our show. It was a little off of finance, but we still gave you a lot. If you can subscribe to my YouTube page, Making Money Moves Podcast is on YouTube. iTunes is Making Money Moves. Like the page, Making Money Moves on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. And I will see you all next week. So thank you guys again for coming, and we're out.